AITA for cutting ties with my suicidal friend after he, ignoring my advice and warnings, got back with his consistently lying ex. TW self-harm. Note: all names said in this are fake and my structure, writing is shit. Around 2 years ago I made friends with Anna, who I met though her half-brother. During that time I also met Ollie. I don't remember how I made friends with him, but he was a quiet guy so must have came up to him one day. Us three were the main trio of a friend group, mixed with friends of Ollie's and Anna's, and I being the bridge between the two groups. Somewhere around a year after we became friends, Anna tells me she has a crush on Ollie. She tells me about how she's planning on inviting him to town and confessing her feelings. I support her on this and she eventually builds up the courage to go and do it. Those two end up together and became quite literally inseparable. On the bus, between classes, during break and lunch, they'd go to each other like magnets and metal. Beginning of 2024, Anna began telling us about a guy she's friends with. I'll call him Terence. While she told us about him, she tells me that he's South African. She does so because I'm South African as well, and how he's currently there on holiday. Me and Ollie began hating on him for no reason, simply for jokes. I took it as an opportunity to make racist remarks on him while he started going on about how Anna shouldn't have guy friends. Again, we were having a giggle. It was funny until she sent us texts, several texts, of Terence sending her snaps of him and calling her princess or baby. Me and Ollie, especially Ollie, tell her to block him multiple times, but she doesn't because she's friends with some people he's friends with. She does tell him to cut it out and makes it clear she's seeing someone, but Terence continues. For the next 3 months, he shows up more and more frequently at school, and Anna keeps running to him and spending more time around him than Ollie, and Ollie is getting pissed. Now here's some background about Ollie. He has anger issues, with a history of getting into nasty fights back in primary. He's an absolute introvert who's never been in a relationship and only just started getting out his shell. And he's picked on by many people for his background, personality, etc. He's German. You can sadly see where that is going. At some point during a day off school, I get a text from Anne that she and Ollie have broken up. They got into a fight and she broke up with him for mental health purposes. I asked her if maybe she could work stuff out with him first, knowing that Ollie may blame himself for whatever happened, but she refused. I checked up on Ollie and he gave me some info. Apparently Anne broke off from him after he told her to look for someone else that can keep you content, while she was texting random guys on Snapchat. With how badly Ollie was affected, finding it difficult to take care of himself, I found myself siding with him and found it hard to talk to Anne. Exactly a week later, she tells me she's dating Terence, and to make sure Ollie is okay for her. He was anything but okay, telling me he's given up on eating and hurt himself as soon as he found out. Me and a friend of Anne's helped him get better, which took a while. Unfortunately he got back to being himself and even got a new girlfriend. I ended up blocking Anne after she told me that she's with Terence. Things were going well, until Anne starts texting him, out of nowhere sending him TikToks, texting him good morning nearly every day, etc. I told him so many times to block her, but he kept unblocking her or would forget to block her in the first place. Then, she and Terence broke up, and she went crying to Ollie. I realized that she'd most likely try to ask him out again, but Ollie didn't believe me. Turns out I was right as the next day she tried her luck. He said he blocked her, but 2 days later he's off texting her again. He told me about how she's upset and all her friends are leaving her, and I noticed she's still trying to win him over. But, throughout all this Anne's mutuals and other friends of mine have been asking me how Ollie and Anna, and the situation between them. I had no clue what they were on about until I was sent Snapchats, status posts and screenshots of them together, texting each other and all. Alongside this, one of Anne's mutuals, and a great friend of mine, told me that she's seeing Terence again. My conclusion was clear: she's trying to have both Ollie and Terence, but if I told Ollie then he'd just get angry, and if I was wrong then it would be even worse. So I go to one person I knew who would know, Anne's half-brother's girlfriend. She hates Anne's guts, finds her childish and immature with any and all relationships she's had. I asked her how Anne is doing, since she's friendly with Terence and Ollie, and she told me, she's trying to get with both of them. My hunch was right. She then tells me that her and Anne's half-brother told Anne that she's wrong for doing what she's doing, and that she can only choose one. Anne said she chose Terence, but then flipped over to Ollie. After that, on my way home, I left and cut out all the groups I was in with Ollie. I did this because I couldn't stand how all my advice, my effort and energy has been wasted. As much as Ollie was a great friend, he was being stupid, and I promised myself to not be around people who make stupid decisions that affect me or our friendship. He was also very two-faced, complaining about the amount she texted him in the morning but then pushed me out the way to get to her between lessons. He quickly found out and texted me, asking why I'm angry and that he's in love. I exposed Anne to him, revealing how she's lying, getting with him and Terence at the same time, using every spell in the book to make him follow along. But when I told him, he always responded with either, "I would have been told," or, "But she told me that she was forced to." I saw how the conversation wasn't getting anywhere and that he wasn't listening to me, again, and so I blocked him. Anne tried reaching out to me through a mutual, but I simply told him to ignore her. Ollie tried continuing the conversation through someone else, but I told him that if I get any more texts regarding the situation, I'll simply cut ties with him too. He also asked my friends about the stuff, asking how I have any right to be mad, but when they gave him my reasons he wouldn't take it. It's close to exam period and I'd like to focus on studies while I still can. Now Ollie thinks I'm talking shit about him and sharing personal information when I've admitted he was a nice friend to have. All the information was given to me by other people, and that I've never shown anyone else our messages. He threatened to report me to the school for those reasons, even though he has no evidence for any of them, and if my phone was searched there wouldn't be any still. He broke up with Anne a second time during that, upon which Anne tried reaching me again, for some reason, but failed. And 2 days later they got back together. I don't see why they keep looking to me for advice, not take it, and then once I remove myself from their situation suddenly I'm the problem. I explained my feelings to some of my friends and they've told me I'm in the right and that I have good reasons to be mad. They'd be mad too. So AITA for cutting ties with my friend when he didn't take my advice and caused problems for our friendship.